With my business Instagram and Facebook, I felt like I had to present myself in a certain way, and I had to have like this professional look, and my page had to be aesthetic and all that kind of stuff. And that's not even my personality. Like, I don't walk around being professional all day. Like, I'm just a regular person. Well, I'm not regular, but you know what I'm trying to say. Say, baby, I love you. Say, baby, I love you. Hey, so today I am at the park, just enjoying the nice weather out here today, and I've really been wanting to talk about my experience with deleting some of my social media sites. And I say some of my social media sites because I know that on YouTube, like, sometimes people really come for you in the comments about how YouTube is a social media, and YouTube is a form of social media, but it's not one of the social media platforms that I really struggled with. I made the decision last year to delete Instagram and Facebook, my personal pages. I still kept my business pages until this year, but I decided to delete my personal pages last year because I felt like I was consuming so much information. That was like the #1 reason. Just a little backstory. I started my social media journey, I guess you would say, like towards the end of middle school. So I had like MySpace and Bebo, and then I guess that was like 2008, 2009. After that, I joined like the big social media sites like Twitter and Facebook, and eventually my freshman year of college, I joined Instagram and Snapchat. So like 2012, I joined those sites. I think I joined Snapchat in 2013 actually. But at the time that I was on those sites, like, it was completely different than how it is now. So there weren't any ads, there weren't, like, Instagram had just got direct messages by the time I left. So Instagram got direct messages, I think, in April of 2014, and then I deleted my Instagram in June of 2014. So Instagram had just got direct messages. Most of the people that I followed were people that I knew. It wasn't like I was following a bunch of random people. But during that time, social media was not like it is today. I remember even being on MySpace. At the time, people didn't really have smartphones, so we had to get on MySpace from the computer. And MySpace, I remember MySpace just being so chill. Like, yeah, you had your top friends, but most of it was like graphic design. Like, we were graphic designers, okay? Like, you could not tell me that I was not a graphic designer. I was doing coding, I was changing like my layout and my songs. Like, MySpace was a fun time. At one point, I realized that people were starting to put Facebook and Twitter and Instagram in a higher regard, and people were more so posting like a lot of information about their personal lives and like what they were doing on a regular day-to-day basis, and people were just putting a lot of sensitive information on there. And I was at a place where I was searching for my own identity, and I decided to take a break from those social media platforms because I wanted to be so clear on like who I was and what my values were, and I didn't want that to be impacted by me being on social media. So for example, like, people would like subtweet you and they would make a post about you, but they wouldn't put your name in it, but you knew that it was about you. And so it was just becoming so passive aggressive. I remember like one of my friends that I had known since elementary school, she had posted something saying that like men don't like skinny women, only dogs like bones. And I remember that hurt my feelings so bad. She didn't post that to be directed at me, but I was offended by it. And I was like, wow, like, I really had to be intentional about making sure that I have my own standard of beauty and not what the internet is telling me is beautiful. Like, at the time, like, I still don't wear like wigs and weaves and that kind of thing, but that's what was popular at the time. And so I decided that I wanted to take a step away from social media and make sure that I was so sure about who I was. And so in 2014, I deleted Instagram, I deleted Facebook, and I deleted Twitter. And I ended up staying away for like 4 or 5 years. During that time of me being off social media, like, the word that I can think of to describe the experience was just bliss. Like, I was completely unaware of like what was going on in the world around me. I was completely unaware of what celebrities were doing or like the bad news. And so in 2019, I got my real estate license, and I knew that it would be a good idea for me to get on social media again so that people that I knew that I didn't talk to on a regular basis, or even people that didn't know me, would have the opportunity to be able to follow me. And so I got back on like Instagram, Facebook, and all that in 2019, and literally it was 2 days before Thanksgiving. And the day that I got on, like, I started adding people, and I just felt so overwhelmed. And I remember my head was hurting that day and everything. Every single time I would click on the app, I would get like this massive headache, and the way that my nervous system or my body was responding to me being on social media, I just didn't like the way that it felt. I felt like I knew way too much information about the people that were on these websites, and I don't believe that we were created to know that much information about so many different people. Now, as a disclaimer, I do want to say, like, I do not believe that social media is bad. I believe that it's great with building awareness about different things and social situations that are going on. I know that people have been able to find like long lost family members. You learn about different businesses. Like, there are so many benefits of social media, and you can learn a lot from social media, and you're just in the know about what's going on around you, like different events, different clubs that you might be interested in. But other than that, you can also build like actual friendships on social media. You know, I have a couple people that I've never met them in person before, but I interacted with their content, and now like we keep in touch with one another. So I think there are definitely benefits of being on social media, but for me, being off social media was a benefit for me instead of being on social media. So in 2022, I just felt like this huge pull to take a step away from social media, to take a break from social media. So in March of 2022, I decided to take a 6-month break. And as my time was ending in September, I didn't want to go back to social media. And at this point, I was not posting on my personal pages or my business pages. And during that time, like, one, I got a lot closer to God. Like, my relationship with God like really deepened and grew to another level, and it was something that had been missing out of my life. Like, I was still spending time with God, but I was way more intentional, and I didn't have like I feel like I could hear God more clearly because I didn't have the distraction of the outside world around me. I've also been a lot more productive. I started writing again. I started being creative again, and it just reminded me of the time that I was off of like Facebook and Instagram for 5 years, and I was so creative during that time. And so now I feel like I've gotten back to the space where I'm able to be creative. You know, I'm not comparing myself to anybody else because I'm not looking at anybody else online. When I got back on social media, there was like this real estate agent that started around the same time as me, but this real estate agent was running circles around me, okay? And I was starting to feel bad about like my production because this person was in the forefront of my mind because I saw them all the time. Like, they were constantly posting, constantly selling houses, and I started to look at myself like, okay, like, what am I doing wrong? But I eventually had to unfollow that person and just stop paying attention to what other people were doing and basically keep my eyes on my own paper. And since I deleted social media, like, I sold 23 houses this year, and from January of this year until July of this year, I sold 23 houses, and that is a lot of houses to sell in a recession. But I did that without really being on social media. I still had my business Facebook page, but I did not have my business Instagram page, and I think I only had my business Facebook page for like 2 of those months. But I digress. Being away from social media really made me a lot more productive because I had the same amount of time, but I wasn't so focused on my phone and, you know, scrolling. And I also realized last year, before I took my social media break, that I had started getting anxious. Dealing with anxiety was new for me, and I read this study that was saying how being on social media can increase anxiety because of the content that you're looking at. And I decided, you know, I took that break and the anxiety went away. I haven't been anxious since I left social media. So that's another benefit for me. There's so much going on in the world today. It's like, if you turn on the news or if you look at social media on your phone, like, you hear about so many sad events and disturbing events. But since I've been off social media, it's like I don't even know about what's going on in the world, and I don't feel like it really benefits me to know that a lot of people were injured, or little kids went to school and they didn't make it back home. I don't feel like I benefit from knowing that information, and being away from social media means that I don't get as much of the bad news, and that has been really helpful for my mental health, because you don't want to get to a point where you're constantly like hearing bad news and you're wondering if it's gonna happen to you, and you're doing the most like checking. I remember one time, like, I was like just double checking, looking under my car to make sure nobody was hiding under my car. Like, it can put a lot of fear in your heart, and that I didn't want to deal with that. Being away from social media has also made me a lot more confident. I have the freedom to be myself. I don't use filters anymore. Like, I'm not waking up thinking about, okay, I need to make sure I look picture perfect in case I have to take a picture for social media. And another thing was, like, with my business Instagram and Facebook, I felt like I had to present myself in a certain way, and I had to have like this professional look, and my page had to be aesthetic and all that kind of stuff, and that's not even my personality. Like, I don't walk around being professional all day. Like, I'm just a regular person. Well, I'm not regular, but you know what I'm trying to say. I don't use filters anymore. Like, I feel like you can get to a point where you use so many filters that you can get to a point where you don't even recognize yourself without filters, or you don't feel as beautiful without the filter. I didn't take a break from Snapchat. Sometimes I'll take like a month off Snapchat, but this year I took like 3 months off Snapchat, and after that I stopped using filters. And my thing with Snapchat is, like, I have less than 20 followers on Snapchat. I always have. And so the people that I follow on there are like my friends in real life. I do feel like my generation, and not even just my generation, but people in general, feel like this pressure to present themselves a certain way. I remember, being in the real estate industry, I have all kind of people reach out to me and say, for example, like this one person that I grew up with reached out to me, and she was like, hey, I lost my job because of the shutdown, and I just got evicted, but I would like to buy a home. This is my credit score. What can I do to get to where I need to be? But she was like venting to me about her financial situation, and literally that same day she posted a money fan on Facebook, and I was like, it just made me realize, like, people will go to extra lengths to make it seem like they're doing okay and that everything is fine, when maybe it's not. And it's because they feel like they have to present themselves a certain way, or they're like in secret competition with the people that are around them, that are following them. But the truth is, everybody might not be going through something, but everybody has been through something before. Like, nobody has it all together, and it's okay to be imperfect. And I feel like social media really put that pressure on people. I feel like social media makes people feel like they're less than if they work a 9 to 5. Like, everybody's not created to be entrepreneurs. I don't believe that everybody should go and delete their social media or deactivate their social media, but I definitely think that there are benefits of like taking a break. Like, if you think about it, there are people that have been on social media for like 10, 15 years and have never taken a week away from social media or a month away from social media. And so I do want to encourage those that are watching this, like, take a break from social media and just see how you feel, see what changes. Like, for me, like, I just feel so much peace, like, not being bogged down with all of this information and content overload. Earlier this year, I decided to delete my business Instagram, and as I was trying to delete it and log out of the app, like, somebody sent me a live video. And I clicked on it, and it was about this hairstylist who was saying, hairstylists are at a higher risk of getting sick and illness and disease because of all the chemicals that they come in contact with. And I was like, there is no reason that I need to know this information. Like, a lot of the information I feel like that was on social media was just unnecessary for me. Like, I don't need to know that. I don't need another reason to be tempted to be afraid or to have fear. So yes, I like to take social media breaks. It's been over a year now since I deleted my personal pages. It's been, I don't know how long it's been since I deleted my business pages, but I really love living a life without social media. I feel like I live in the moment more. I'm not on my phone as much. Hey y'all, so I was looking at the videos and I realized that I completely forgot to talk about TikTok, okay? Like, how could I forget to talk about TikTok? So I actually started my TikTok account in 2016 when it was Musical.ly, and I would get on from time to time and, make videos with my friends. And then in 2019, I started to really get on TikTok more. And so like the whole 2019, I was on TikTok more. And it was a cool app. It was a fun app. And then the world shut down, and it seemed like everybody and their mama got on TikTok. And when I tell you, it was like droves and droves and droves of people got on this app. Like, imagine going from like being in a small town where you know everybody to like being in New York City or like Los Angeles. Like, there were so many people on the app, y'all. And so the dynamics of the app changed. And then TikTok became this app where it was like they were creating the app in such a way that they were trying to get you addicted to the app, and they wanted you to spend more and more time on the app. And I just didn't like that. It felt like people were not being genuine. People would be mean in the comments. Like, I would go through the comments, I'm like, wow, like these people are being so mean. And I just felt like I felt like so many people were doing things for clout. Like, people would pretend that they were driving a certain car when they weren't, or they would say, oh, like, I'm a chef and this is my home kitchen, but really they were renting out a kitchen. Like, there was a lot going on, and people were doing all kinds of crazy stuff just to get attention and like just trying to go viral. And I was like, I'm not really rocking with that anymore. So I mean, there are benefits of TikTok. You can learn stuff from TikTok. I know I use TikTok as like a search engine and also just to relate to everyday people. So I feel like if I ever do download TikTok again, like, I wouldn't follow anybody that I know, because I just get tired of the content. And even though I'm not on the app, like, sometimes my phone will let me see the videos and sometimes they won't. Like, if somebody sends me a link or something, sometimes I can see the video and sometimes I can't. But half of the time I don't click on the link anyway. Another issue that I had with social media is that I've seen videos of people who have lost their lives, and it's like nothing is sacred anymore. And it just makes me wonder, like, why would you be okay with sharing a video about somebody losing their life? Like, they're losing their life in the video, and I'm clicking on something not realizing what I'm about to see. Like, it's just so much. There's so much that's shared on social media, and I just value being a private person. You know, I like keeping my life private. When I go on vacation, I don't have to tell everybody. Like, if I, you know, have some type of accomplishment, I don't feel like I need to share it with all of these strangers that I don't know. People will share so much information online, and then when you talk to them in person, even if you're like their friend in real life, like, you know, they don't share certain things. I remember when it used to be so sacred. When a baby was born, like, you didn't post pictures of a baby. You didn't, you know, just go around showing everybody a brand new baby. A brand new baby. You didn't go showing people like a newborn like the first day they were out. But now people will have their baby and they'll be posting their baby like 2-3 hours later, and it's like, it's not sacred anymore. I feel like there are just certain things that should be private for a minute. Like, I just don't feel like I need to post every aspect of my life. Like, and it gives people an opportunity to ask, well, I haven't seen you in a while, like, what have you been up to? Or, I don't see you on social media. I've been trying to find you on social media. Like, what are you doing these days? How have you been? Like, deleting your social media will make you realize that there are certain people in your life that maybe they're not really your friends. Maybe they just follow you. Maybe y'all just follow each other on social media and y'all are not friends in real life, because maybe you interact on a certain app and then you remove yourself from that app and then y'all don't talk anymore. I like having that privacy. I like being able to process things on my own. Like, I take my wins in private. I take my losses in private. I'm not worried about, oh, well, now I'm going to have to update all these people because I said that I was doing XYZ. I don't have to do any of that because I'm not telling everybody my business. I will say that I do love YouTube. I use YouTube as a search engine. This is my preferred platform for social media. Like, I love learning about what other people are doing. I feel like I've been able to connect with people all over the world, so I feel like that's pretty cool. And like, if I need to figure out something about my car, I can look it up on YouTube. If, you know, I want to watch a video about something I feel like somebody else has experienced, I can look it up on YouTube. I love like just hearing about other people's journeys. I love learning new things. I'm definitely gonna have to do a part 2 of this video because I don't want it to be too long, and I have so much that I can talk about on this subject. But if you've ever deleted your social media, if you've ever taken a break from social media, or if you can just relate to like some of the things that I said in this video, definitely comment below because I would love to hear what you have to say. I hope you have a great day, whatever day it is that you're watching this, and I'll see y'all next time.